back to what I think will be round 13 of one of the best fights we've seen over many decades. And this time, I believe we're going to get the victory. One of the reasons we took the fight, Andy, was 2 bites of the cherry. We've been massively inactive, and he was moving up to fight, a middleweight. And we just felt that over the 2 fights, we would get it right. And this next fight, you thought that first fight was a war. You wait till you see this one. And that fight, I think, would have taken a huge part of Eubank's soul. And he's going to be expected to go back to the same trenches that he went to last time. Maybe this time deeper. And he's a brave guy. He's got plenty of heart. And it will be a fantastic fight. The one, I believe, this time, Conor Benn will be victorious.
I don't like the fact that the rehydration clause is still there. I think that's completely wrong. If Ben really wanted his revenge and stuff, the rehydration clause should have been took out. You know what I mean? But the first fight was a great watch, a great spectacle, not great in terms of actual boxing, but it was a war between 2 men who have history, of family history, and the back and forths and the build up to it was fantastic. The doping scandal at the start, you're going, they really want to see the fight, and then it happened, and you're like, oh, it's class. But people forget the kind of doping scandal a bit, the general public. So I'm not a fan of it, and I hope it's the same kind of fight, only probably cleaner from Chris. So I'd like to see it cleaner.
In the first fight, I thought Conor was going to be active enough to defeat Chris, and Chris fought a better fight than I thought he was going to be able to do against Conor. I think it'll be a close fight, but the outcome may be the same.
Regardless of the weight, I think I bring Conor into the fight more next time. Regardless, I think Chris is getting older and starting to look older, and I think that fight won't have done him any favours. I think that'll have put even more miles on the clock with Chris. Seeing Chris training with knee braces on, elbow braces, stuff like that. I give Conor a real chance next time. I just think Chris can look at, without knowing you're done, Chris will look at it like, I've just beat Conor, because he did beat Conor the first time round, for millions, and I'll beat him again for even more money next time round. And I think that'll be Chris's angle on it, and the when. Chris has, he's got that way about him. We'll fight when I'm ready to fight, and that's why he's delayed it till November. If he turns up the same way he did last time, then there's a route to victory, because I think Conor outperformed last time. I think Conor performed very well for the Conor Benn, and Chris won the fight. So if Chris turns up like he did last time, then he's got a chance. But I thought Chris looked, like I said, 1 or 2 fights away from being done.
The first one, a great fight. Not in terms of skill like we'll see with Crawford and Canelo, but in terms of heart, determination, will, and drama, it was one of the best fights of the year, of the last few years. And one of the best things about it was when his dad turned up. That has to be one of the best moments, and it was great. And the second fight, who knows which way it'll go? I don't like to call winners and call losers. I know all these guys personally, but I'll take my hat off to both of them for a great fight, and hopefully they'll do it again.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, really. To be honest, the first fight, yeah. I don't know. It was a great fight, wasn't it? So hopefully, if the fight's happening, it's a great fight again, and they all come out safe and healthy.
Yeah, do you know what it was? It wasn't even a matter of preparation, or it was simply emotion. So going into the fight, everybody knows who's followed me in my career, I'm an emotional guy, and I fought with too much emotion. For me, it was going in there and rendering him unconscious and really doing some damage, which you could say I'd done by putting him in hospital for 3 days. That was my sort of mindset going into the fight, whereas now for me it's about making sure I secure the win and stay disciplined in doing that. I watched the fight back, and it was I was disappointed, yeah, of course. I was disappointed because I got 36 minutes to get it right, and everything went out the window because I couldn't control my head. Bottom of my heart. I was going to say you guys know what to expect, but you know, no doubt, see a more disciplined version of myself.
Yeah, it's like I said, Andy, he had to tick a lot of firsts off, and obviously it was his first fight in like nearly a year and a half last time. You know, first fight in a big stadium, first fight up at middleweight, and obviously he's had his first loss, so there was a lot of boxes to be ticked, but he's ticked all them boxes off now. He's kind of been there and done it, and the experience he's gained from that first fight, you know, he's something he just can't get, and you know, he's gained that now, and I believe that technically he's a lot better fighter than what we see the first time around. As I said in the press conference, he was emotionally involved in the fight, and where he hurt Chris early on in the fight, he said to me afterwards, I thought that, you know, any clean punch that I land would take him out. I believe that I was hurting him, but obviously that's what he went for, and I think the game plan we had, you know, he didn't stick to that. But like I said, he's been there and done that, and he's more in his head now. He'll be more calmer. And it's like I said earlier as well. If you watch the Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank senior first fight, it was a bit like the same thing where Nigel believed that he could knock Chris out. He got emotional with the pressers and everything they'd done, and then the second time, he was a smart fighter the second time, and everyone know that he beat Chris Eubank senior the second time around, and I believe that Conor Benn will follow suit in that. I don't believe Chris Eubank's got any more than he showed that night. At 35, I don't believe he's got anything more to give, and I believe that Conor technically will be a better fighter on the night.
Yeah, it's a great fight. It's a fantastic fight. Two fantastic fighters with a lot of pedigree. I really like Conor. I'm a big fan of Conor. We're good friends. We're always in touch with each other. It's a fight potentially could happen soon, but I'm looking forward to making that fight Ireland versus England. That'd be a massive fight also. So he's a fantastic fighter. I like Conor. I haven't met Eubank, so I'm going to pick Conor to win the fight.
I say revenge. I think Conor Benn's going to beat Eubank this time. I feel like a fight. The last fight was unbelievable, but fights like that take something out of you, and at Eubank's age, it takes a little bit more out of Eubank than it does out of Benn. I fancy Conor Benn to do it, but I mean then that means he'll do it again, and the money I'm sure the boys have made in the first fight, this fight coming up, and if they do a third one, incredible.
I think Ben can do more, and he's going to learn from it, the first one. So, and Eubank looked drained at that weight. I'm surprised he's gone in again for the same weight, same rules, because you could see he looked like he was struggling to get to that weight, and it showed in there at times. So I think it's a 50-50. You know, Ben's in with a better chance this time than the first time. Yeah, you've got to box. Look, it's called boxing for a reason. You know, you've got to box. When you're looking for big shots and take somebody's head off, somebody will pick you apart. You know, this is skill set in there. At this level, you've got to box your way in.
It's hard. It's hard because I think the first fight could have took a lot out of Eubank. You know, with the weight making, it was a hard fight. Obviously, he had to go to hospital after, and obviously he's got to do all that again, make that weight. It's a lot of strain on your body. So for me, I'm not a fan of it. You know, that's depleting a fighter. Like it's not very healthy.
I think Conor doesn't know what he's in for this time around. I mean, Crawford, they've been with him since early on in his I think from his amateur career through to the professional. So they really have their have their stamp on things they've developed with Crawford. But seeing his short-term training regime with Junior, it's just about making sure that Junior's sharp, fit, and the best version of himself and firing on all cylinders. And that is exactly what they brought out last time. That's what I expect to see this time.
I've said repeat from the minute it was made, but I just think the way Conor Benn hurt him in that fight and could hurt him, I think Ben might have enough in there to do it, and I just think it's just because I just think Eubank's done, and I've said this since he fought my brother Liam. his brother Liam was just in that bad a shape with his back that he couldn't do that in the second fight. But I think he's been done since then, and I think he's been ready there for the taking. And I think Ben should have learned enough in the first fight to be able to do that. I do think Eubank might be a bit better, but still, I still think if you're getting caught by Conor Benn and getting hurt by Conor Benn when you're a big middleweight and you've been in there with big middleweights or super middleweights like Groves and everyone else and not being budged, then there's a problem. And the problem, I think, is he's probably had better days. But it was an entertaining fight the first time, and it's one I'll be watching this time because I think it'll be another good fight this time.
I think it's going to be a little bit tougher this time because I'm sure Ben, if he's smart, is going to make some adjustments. And if he makes adjustments, it's going to make it real good, real fun again. I expect another brilliant fight just like it was the first time. And I'm looking forward to Ben. Eubank probably should win it again because of his size, but I think it'll be a better fight than the first one.
I'm expecting revenge. I think Conor. I think both fighters put on an amazing performance. I think Junior left everything in the ring, and the conditions and the contractual conditions are exactly the same. So I don't see anything else being physically different. But I looked at Conor. I thought Conor looked like he had a bit more left in the tank to give something else. So I just don't want Conor to overthink it, because I know he said I was too emotionally invested. He needs to be emotionally invested. He needs that eye of the tiger. He needs that sting. He needs that I want to smash your face in. But he needs to do it in a calculated way, not be too smart and overcook it. A massive factor, which is why I say I think it'll be revenge rather than repeat.